Hello, my friends, and welcome to Kitsune Readings, where your questions find answers. Hello, everyone. Ryukumai here. Today, I'm going to do another reading from the 21 Lessons of Merlin. Now, this is going to be on the 3 Rites of Assumption. The 3 Rites of Assumption we're going to go over today. I believe this is from ancient Celtic lore, right? So let's read the insert here. In front of this wall was a slope which was embedded. In front of this wall, a slope in which was embedded a stone that jutted out, my stone. Often when I was alone, I sat down on this stone and then began an imaginary game that went something like this. I'm sitting on top of this stone, and it is underneath, but the stone could also say I and think. I am laying here on this slope, and he is sitting on top of me. The question then arose, am I the one who is sitting on the stone, or am I the stone on which he is sitting? This question always perplexed me, and I would stand up wondering who was what now. C.G. Jung, Memories, Dreams, and Reflections. In A Boy to Magic Born, the young Arthur is introduced to us at Tentacle Monastery. Now, Tentacle Monastery, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is where Arthur was said to have grown up as a young boy. By that I mean King Arthur, of course, after all. This is a story of Merlin and the young King Arthur. And of course, there are lessons of magic and rituals in this book as well. This is the 21 Lessons of Merlin by Douglas Munro, one of my favorite books on magic. Now, it is a story of beginnings, new and bright, colorful like flowers, blue as the seagull-filled sky, and the only lesson told in the third-person form. Its function is more to set the tone, the mood of the chronicles, than to supply any specific druidic practices. However, the Book of Ferrell does provide a listing of 9 so-called rites of assumption, 9 so-called rites of assumption, which are druidic visualization exercises aimed at tapping into raw, natural, archetypal realms. And since A Boy to Magic Born deals specifically with colorful springtide beginnings, the author has selected 3 of these rites for the reader who might wish to tie in more closely with the elemental magical world of the Celtic people. The druidic poetry is always built upon intense and colorful descriptive imagery. Picture painting with words. The Druids placed a great emphasis upon prose, poetry, verse in their teaching system, creating an entire rank of their order, known as the Bards, solely dedicated to this ideal of expression. The specific technique by which their poetry became imbued with magic was called the illumination of rhymes. Now, this is true. And with Druids, a lot of their lore was to be memorized and used in the spoken word form. So, if you were trained as a bard, it was one of the most highest ranks in the Druidic order, I think, are one of the most special classes of people among their priesthood. And you had to remember everything. All of the lore from the Druidic Celts, as far as I know, was only passed on through oral teaching, and they didn't write anything down or keep records, except perhaps from what was recorded on the Emerald Tablet, as far as I'm aware. <clears throat> 'Alright, so the illumination of rhymes. This technique involved becoming one with the forces of nature by means of intense imagery and visual imagination, to be able to see in one's mind the images being spoken of so clearly that you actually become one with the picture's elemental forces themselves. In this fashion, the rhymes become illuminated. How does one accomplish this? By careful meditative practice over time and under the proper conditions. The first of these conditions is environment. In accord with the Druidic ritual law, like forces attract, right? So you'll hear this in Wicca and other spiritual practices. Like attracts like. You will attract people of the energy that you put out. The closer your physical surroundings or ritual site matches the environment of the poetry, the easier will be the assumption. So choose a meditation spot which matches as closely as possible the picture being painted in the prose. The time is also important: day or night, dawn or dusk, full moon or new. Pay attention to the details. The second condition involves external atmosphere, that which a magician creates around himself, and enhancement and encouragement of optimum working space. This may be done through a variety of means, whereby like forces are attracted into your working area. Some of these are incense, right? You burn a substance of the same energy content as that of your prose. So if you're taking an energy of fire, then you would use likely a red candle or something that represents fire to you, cinnamon, incense, etc. Aromatics. By selecting specific scents, natural perfumes, which will aid concentration, for example, if the chosen rhyme mentions rose imagery, then make sure roses or rose scent is around. Likewise, with an oak poem, surround yourself with oak energy by placing oak leaves about, etc. That makes sense, right? Now remember, the closer your working environment matches that of the assumption prose, the easier it will be for you to slip into that particular archetype. So this is about being more or less conducting rituals to become one with elemental powers. The third condition involves internal environment. Make sure that your personal mood, emotional state is receptive to the specific poem you are working on. For example, don't try to work on a verse involving the tranquil sea if you're raging mad at someone, a fire emotion. The two don't mix, and if combined will result in both a dilution of the anger and of the imagery results. Know your own biorhythm and the best working times for you. And this brings us to the three rites of assumption themselves. True to Druidic pattern, the 9 rites given in the Farld, I think that's how that's pronounced, I may have to look that up, are grouped into 3 groups of 3, of course, because with them they had the 3 times 3 times 3 law, so everything comes to you in multiples of 3s. Such is my understanding of that belief system. Each set denoting a past, present, future relationship. The second of these sets has been chosen as most appropriate to this chapter. Alright, so we're going to go over here, my dear viewers, the Song of Taliesin, I have been, the past, the Song of Amergin, I am, the present, and Song of the Blue Star, I will be, which is the future. Now, I have no singing talent, so we'll just speak these. Man, if I could sing, that'd be great, but I don't have that talent. So, moving on. Each are given separately. It is suggested that they first be thoroughly memorized, then worked through in order over an extended period of time from the past to the future. While working, your goal is to actually assume the identity of the prose image. Become a salmon in a pool, a morning glory upon a field of green, or a tear of the sun. Feel the sun heat or the cool moistness of salmon flesh. Become one with the raw elemental forces evoked. Memorize them using the picture connection technique, whereby you actually construct a mini movie within your mind, with each prose stanza being one scene, then becoming the next. Once these movie picture poems become familiar and powerful, use them as often as personal affirmations to keep the natural magic within your realm of thought and day-to-day mundania. Then go back and reread A Boy to Magic Born. It will lend a whole new feel to the archetypal essence contained within. So, in order to do this, if you have men struggle with meditation and forming imagery, go to YouTube, right, and look up meditation music by the sea, or a field of meadow flowers or something like that, and that will help assist you with forming pictures, because you'll see and listen to relaxing music while seeing an image that you're supposed to be focused on. And that's a good way to practice that technique. Now that we've mentioned that, we will move on to the songs themselves. Song of Taliesin, I think is how that's pronounced. Once widely recited as a spiritual affirmation. This prose evokes personal power by declaring the ranks through which the magician has risen, in order to attain his present position. It is most effectively performed within a stone circle, to confine and concentrate the energy toward you at the center. Aloud in the manner of a declaration, choose an instance from among the poem's symbolism, or burn mistletoe upon an ash bed of an oak fire if possible, or flowers of broom, the flower sacred to Taliesin. Primary bard to Elfim am I, and my country is the region of the summer stars. Many have called me Merlin, but at length every man will call me Taliesin. I have been a herdsman, and travelled over the earth. I have slept in 100 islands, guest of 100 kings. I have dwelt in 100 cities for a year and a day. I was in fetters. I have been a fierce bull and a yellow buck. I have been a boat upon the sea. I have been the foam of water. I have been a drop in the air. I have journeyed high as an eagle. I have been a tree stump and a shovel. I have been an axe in the hand. I have been a spotted snake on a hill. I have been a wave breaking on the beach. On a boundless sea I was set adrift. Then for 9 months I was little Gwen, in the womb of Caradwyn, and at length was I Taliesin. I have been at the throne of the distributor. I have stood high upon the white hill. I was fluent before being gifted with speech. I have been teacher to all intelligences. I have singly built the tower of Nimrod. I am the Tetragrammaton. I am a wonder whose origins is not known. I shall be until the day of doom upon the earth, and it is not known whether my body is flesh or fish. Learned druid, prophecy of Arthur, or is it me they celebrate? This version comes from the Book of Feralt, but 2 others are available in Robert Graves' The White Goddess, pages 89 and 119. So what did you think of that? Was that not awesome? Now we move on to the Song of Amergin. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this right. If not, you can correct me in the comments. Once widely known as today's Christian Apostles' Creed, this beautiful poem traces back to 600 BC in Ireland. A full contextual setting is given in chapter 13 of this book, Echoes of Ancient Stone. This Assumption prose declares a druid's personal power in the present, by saying that he is now greater than the sum of all his parts, a mighty composite being able to draw upon the experience and skills of countless prior transmigrations. Burn dragon's blood incense, and if possible, perform this high upon a windswept cliff or hill. I am the wind of the sea. I am a wave of the sea. I am a sound of the sea. I am a stag of 7 tines. I am a hawk upon a cliff. I am a ray of the sun. I am the fairest among flowers. I am a savage boar in Valor. I am a salmon in a pool. I am a lake upon the plain. I am a hill of poetry. I am a spear point in battle. I am a god who kindles fire in the head. Who but I can unfold the secrets of unhewn dolmen? Who but I can make known the ages of the moon? Who but I can show the secret resting place of the sun? Those are some powerful words there. And now we move on to the Song of Blue Star. I like this one, it's pretty cool. I mean, the poem we just read, of course. Now, Song of Blue Star. Song of Blue Star. This poem seems to be as unique as the plant about which it was composed, also referred to as the spiral rite. It is the shortest of any of the 9 assumptions given within the Feralt text, as well as being the only one specified alongside a particular symbol. See the following page. Song of Blue Star is an assumption prose dealing with spiritual potential. I can and will become one of 3 poems. The future. Blue Star is actually a viney flower identical to today's common variety Blue Morning Glory. It is a plant with a fascinating history of religious use, more recently to the 1960s psychedelic hippie movement, where its seeds were used to extract LSD. See R.A. Miller's book, The Magical and Ritual Use of Herbs, Destiny Books, 1983. Its botanical name is Empomia violacea, or Valacea. I don't know. I'll have to work on my pronunciations. And it is a member of the bindweed family. In ancient times, the flowers varied widely in color depending upon the climate and terrain, from stark white to sky blue, more common today. Always it has shared a symbolic archetype associated with the sky or the sea, on account of its color, but especially on account of the 5-rayed star pattern, also known as the pentagram or druid's foot, visible inside the flower. Also, the ancients, the sky and sea, were bringers of dreams and visions. It is therefore suggested that the seeds and or leaves of the blue star be burned as incense during the Assumption, to help establish optimum energy conditions. This brief prose is now given, exactly as recorded in the Feralt and later translated to D.W. Nash. Alright, chat. Now, don't go getting high or anything, alright? No, you might want to burn something that has the scent of morning glories, but, you don't, want to get high, alright? Don't be doing that. I don't recommend using drugs. The Shi once said to me that if you're going to conduct rituals and practice magic, you must do so and produce results without the use of drugs. Because if you get high and you're not in your right mind and what you see are illusions, the power you obtain is then a lie. And if you practice drugs while trying to perform magic, that can be very bad. So, remember, winners don't use drugs. Now, that being said, let us move on. I will be as a blue star upon a field of green, circling upward towards a golden sun. The plant is also sun-loving and will not grow well out of direct sunlight. Use all these physical traits in your picture visualizations. The symbol given above, as well as usage of the word circling within the passage itself, gives weight to the idea that perhaps the blue star also symbolized the spiral path of life, birth and rebirth, and due to the natural tendency of its vines to spiral and climb around anything in its path. It is therefore suggested that the recitation be coupled with a spiral movement of the head and upper body from a seated position, which begins slowly in a small clockwise motion, builds to a large swaying circle, then recedes back in on itself counterclockwise. Other bardic druid poems not included but which may be similarly used are Pradu Anwin, Angar Sidwad, Cad Godu, Ir Adwu Vrith, and Elegy of Ilshif. And I don't know if I pronounced those old Celtic words correctly. If I didn't, you can correct me in the comments. And now we will move on to chapter 2, which will be There Were Giants in the Earth. And it has this really cool picture that comes with the chapter that I can show you here. Oh, Gypsy. You're in the way, Gypsy. There you go. Anyway, I love you guys. And our next video will be on chapter 2, There Were Giants in the Earth. And then we will move on to Magical Lesson 2 of the great book, The 21 Lessons of Merlin. Anyway, thank you for listening. I believe in you. You can and you will achieve your dreams. Have a great day, everyone, and I will see you very soon.